came first, the chicken or the egg? This old phrase is often used to suggest metaphorically situations where it is not clear between two events which is the first giving rise to their mutual causal relationship. Something similar could be said to happen in the case of customer-supplier relationships, which are expressed in the form of contracts and mutual trust. In complex machinery or plant supply projects, the supplier company is responsible for preparing what in essence is a very set complex of products and services tailored to the needs of the customer company. In these agreements, in reality, what takes place is an intense joint work between both companies, expected to culminate for the client company in product innovations and more efficiency. In order to facilitate the communication of valuable and vital information, both supplier and customer companies try to shield their relationship with contracts, guaranteeing the secrecy of the knowledge and information exchange, its proper use, and even make it clear who owns the knowledge and the innovations that are expected to emerge in those months or years of joint work. This is where business organization researchers have traditionally wondered about. Which is more decisive and what comes first in a good relationship? A good contract or mutual trust between the parties? Precisely, our research aims to analyze in what ways each of these two elements, contracts and trust, mediate in the causal relationship existing between knowledge sharing and final product innovation. That is to say, which between contracts and or trust affects more in its causal, in this causal relationship. In the past, research in the field of business innovation in supplier-customer relationships and in the supply chain has shed light on the positive relationship between mutual knowledge sharing and innovative performance. Firms that share knowledge tend to benefit more from value innovations that emerge. And yet, the sharing of valuable information can also entail risks, to the extent that it can result in a loss of exclusivity of that knowledge that is essential to the company because it is in itself an important competitive advantage for it. The basic question then is how to improve the innovative performance coming from knowledge sharing with other members of the supply chain while avoiding the increasing risk of opportunistic behavior. In the recent past, there has been much study about on how contracts and trusts are relatively efficient mechanisms for providing assurance and control. However, there is no consensus as to which of these two mechanisms is more appropriate for fostering innovation within the industrial supplier-customer relationship, or how they should be used. In order to answer these questions, we propose a model relating these four concepts, putting them together with the direct and indirect relations. The details of the relationships in the form of research hypotheses can be found in the article. From a survey to 202 European machinery and machine tool buying and selling firms, we set our work to find out these questions. From these, half responded as buyers, whereas the other half as sellers. This division of the sample allowed us to measure the effects from each role of the buying-selling relationship. The detailed interpretation of these results requires reading further the article. However, as general conclusions, maybe the clearest one is that contracts by themselves do not act as a stimulus for innovation performance to occur. On the contrary, we can affirm that this does happen with respect to trust. Greater trust does act positively in favor of innovative performance. In fact, a relationship based on trust is not simply necessary, but rather fundamental for the exchange of relevant information and knowledge to take place. This is something that is perceived by all, but especially at a higher level by vendor companies. So, What we have been able to determine in part of the strength of influence of knowledge sharing on innovative ability is due mainly to trust. On the other hand, it is observed that contracts only serve as an instrumental element facilitating trust. In short, returning to the metaphor of which came first, the chicken or the egg, what is clear from the result is that companies use contracts as a necessary condition for trust to develop. The challenge then is to cultivate a relationship based on the pillar of trust, because only when there is trust will there be an exchange of knowledge that will foster innovative performance. Very logically, contracts are a fundamental tool helping in this task. Thank you very much for your attention. For further information, you can have a look in our article. Thank you.